Hello, I'm very excited to be here with you all. I'm part of the product team here at SciSpace, and on the day-to-day basis, we get a lot of feedback from you guys, a lot, and I get to talk with you, a lot of you. But today is a different day for me. I get to present the product that my team has been working on day in, day out, improving it, adding new features, and bringing out to you. We strive to make research easier one day at a time so that we can focus on doing our core job and leaving out like the or the rudimentary details to the AI, right? So, without any further ado, I would like to start. So, I'll just share my screen. Okay. Deepak, let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, yes, screen's visible.
Yeah. I think like what I'm going to talk about is how can you convert a stack of research papers that you have painstakingly found out for your domain into a published ready draft, right? So I see this pain for many of the research guys. So what people do is they spend a lot of time in figuring out what are the right research papers in their domain that have already been published, and there is a huge list of papers. And I also see people getting a bunch of papers from the supervisor. If their supervisor is very kind, they get a bunch of list handed over to them on the day one, and they are expected to go through all of it and come up with some sort of draft at the end of like a month or two, right? And juggling through this enormous amount of data is uh, you know quite painful for everybody, and that is the uh, problem statement that we are striving to solve at SciSpace, right? So if you have used SciSpace or you have used some other tool, right, you must have used the literature review functionality where you type in your query, or you must have used Google Scholar where you type in your keywords, get some papers, and you painstakingly like uh, generate a stack of papers, right, which you are going to go through, annotate it, make some notes and all of that, right? And it's a long journey, right? So I'm here to talk about how SciSpace can help you to transform this bunch of research papers that you have found into a draft which is publish ready, right, which you can share with your colleagues or supervisor, and which will help you get to the step of publishing it very close in no time, right? So let me just proceed with it. Yeah, so I'll just clear the agenda for this webinar. So the first step that we are going to talk about is about SciSpace library, right? So this is the first tool of our toolkit in this webinar, which is SciSpace library. How can you organize the research that you have collected in the SciSpace library? So that is the first thing that we'll cover, organizing the research, right? So once we have organized our research, we are going to move to the second tool, which is the Copilot. So this is a very helpful uh, assistant by SciSpace, which will help you get insights from the research that you have collected, right? So once you bring in all the research to SciSpace library, Copilot will help you get those data points, locate things, find the relevant research papers, get answers. So that is the second step. And then we come to the third step, which is to use the third tool, which is the AI writer, which is the most important thing that we are going to cover today. So once you collect all your insights, how can AI writer help you to generate a draft, right? And this is super smart, and it is not going to be just another AI tool, right? So you will see in a few minutes how it is going to help you with all the issues that you have mentioned, right? So I have been reading the chat, and I saw a lot of issues that people are scared of using AI because of that, and how SciSpace solves all of those issues and makes a really, really helpful toolkit for all the research people. Okay, so before I move to this point, right, which is organizing research in SciSpace library, I'm very keen to know like what are the tools that you use today on a day-to-day basis to store or to organize the research that you have found out, right, from various sources. So Please help me out by typing in the chat like various tools that you use. It might be Zotero, Mendeley, or maybe you create folders on your computer to store it, or maybe use some Google Drive or SharePoint. Like, what is it that you use? Yeah. Okay. I see replies in the chat. You are saying Zotero, 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 Jabref, EndNote. Okay. I see folders, Mendeley, Afro AI. Okay. Mendeley again, Dropbox, Zotero. Oh, I see SciSpace and EndNote, Mendeley, EndNote. Great, great, great. So I see people use most of it is Zotero, and they use a lot of other tools as well to do the reference management. But I'll take you through how SciSpace is a one notch above all of these tools, right? What is it that AI does to help you organize your SciSpace library, right? Okay. So how can you get things from SciSpace library, right? So if you have been using Zotero for so long, right, it is a click of buttons to get everything that you have organized from Zotero to SciSpace library. And I'll just show you how it can be done, right? So let me open my account on SciSpace. So I'm at scispace.com, and this is the home screen. And if you see at the top right is where you see the option to go to my library. So once you log into your account, you have an option to organize your library. So let me quickly go to my library, and currently my library is empty. So, but I have been doing a bit of research on one of the trending topics, I would say, which is how plastics are impacting the human health, right? And it is quite a worrisome topic for me. I am not actively doing any research in this field, but as part of SciSpace, the curiosity has also seeped into me while working with various researchers and the team members. So this is one of the topics which I have been actively reading about. So yeah, so I have organized some papers in my Zotero. So I'll just show you how you can import it from Zotero here. So here you see an option to import from Zotero. I'll just click on it, and I have my folder with microplastics ready here. Just click on import. Okay, I'll refresh this page, and you see that with just click of two buttons, I imported the files which are present in my Zotero account to SciSpace. Now, this doesn't depend on how many files you have, right? You might have like three, or you might have been doing your research for like n number of years, and you have like 500 papers that are organized in Zotero, right? The process is same. Click of two buttons, and you get all those files in your SciSpace library. Now, as soon as I upload these files to SciSpace library, right? What SciSpace starts doing is adds a column called TLDR, which is too long, didn't read. Okay. And it starts extracting the data which is present in these files, right? So it might be a 4-page PDF or a 100-page PDF, right? It doesn't matter. SciSpace will extract data from each one of these PDFs. Okay, there we have it. So for these two, I'll just refresh it again, the page. And for all three of them, we have a neat summary of 3 to 5 points for each one of these papers, right? So this makes it very easy. Even if I forget, I like maybe I come back here after 3 days or 30 days, and even if there are like 500 files in the library, I can, if I want to locate the one which I want to read, right, I can just go through this TLDR, which will help me know, okay, this is the right file which I'm looking at, right? Yeah, so we just covered how we can get things from Zotero to our SciSpace library, right? So let's move on to the next step. So what is the other way to get things from Zotero to SciSpace library, right? You might have things on your laptop, right? You might have folders which are present on your laptop. So the second method is to upload those PDFs to your SciSpace library. So let me just upload a PDF to my SciSpace library. So I have a folder for microplastics on my library as well on my laptop. I'll just upload to my microplastics folder, and there you go. Instead of three, now we have four files. And SciSpace repeats the process. It is again going to extract the summary of this file for me. Let me just refresh. Yeah, and what it also does is it extracts the metadata of this PDF file. So you don't have to type it out. It is going to extract what is the title, who are the authors, in which year was it published, and what is the journal in which it was published. Okay, so we covered two things. We imported things from Zotero, we uploaded PDFs. Slowly we're building our library now. And what is the last step? So last method is to bookmark SciSpace papers. So some of you have already been using SciSpace, and let's say you are discovering papers on SciSpace, right? SciSpace has a tremendous amounts of papers. We have 220 million plus papers that are hosted on SciSpace. So if you discover a paper on SciSpace, you find it interesting, you find it relevant, what you can do is you can click a button and it will directly save that paper to your library. So I was doing a literature review on this topic. Let me just open it. And users of SciSpace will know that we have this excellent agentic feature called Deep Review, which will find out hundreds of relevant papers for your topic, right? You can give it a try later on. I won't go deep into this. We have covered this in earlier webinars as well. So this is a result where I asked a question about nanoplastics in gut, and it found out 292 papers for me. Okay. Now on SciSpace, if you see this button near a paper, right, which says bookmark, once you click on it, you'll get an option to save it to your collection in your library. What I can do is I can save this in my microplastics folder again. Let me do another one, and I can get this to my microplastics. So we added two more papers to our microplastics collection, right? Let me go back to my library, and there we have it. Now we have two more additional files in our library. We are slowly building up our library, and we have collected now 6 files uh, for our research, right? And as you see, again, uh, we know that SciSpace is automatically going to generate this summary for me. So yeah, so we covered 3 ways in which we can bring your research into SciSpace: Zotero, PDF uploads, and by bookmarking SciSpace papers. So even if you are using some other reference manager, there is always PDF upload. You can always download PDFs to your computer and upload them to SciSpace. You don't have to worry about anything. SciSpace generates, extracts the metadata for you, so you don't have to do any manual work while bringing in things to SciSpace library, right? So I'll do a quick check here. If you're not able to follow, if you have any questions till now, we can quickly take those questions up. Deepak, are there any questions about this part? Could you please help?
There are a few.
Mhm.
Uh, okay, I've marked a few questions. The first one is, can we can we import papers even from Mendeley?
Okay. So right now we don't support direct imports from Mendeley. We are looking to add more reference managers. The most requested was Zotero, and that is what we have available right now. But yeah, down the line we should have Mendeley as well. But the workaround is to use PDF uploads from your computer.
Okay. That's helpful. The second question is from Ines. Does SciSpace detect duplicates when you upload papers from different sources?
Okay, so SciSpace doesn't tell you directly whether which one is a duplicate, uh, but it will give you all the relevant data of the same PDF. Let's say I upload a PDF file 1 with a different name and PDF file 2 with another name, right? And SciSpace is going to extract the metadata for you, uh, which will tell you that, okay, the title of this file is same, the DOI is same, the authors are same. So that is something that you can use to detect that, okay, this file is already present in my library. Or what you can also do is you can do a query on your library and ask it to find the files which are relevant to a particular topic, right? And if you, that is another way to figure out the duplicates in your library. Yeah.
Okay. There is one last question, then we can go to the next one, which is from Kian. In TLDR, how can you make sure it is not hallucinating?
Okay. So let me go back. So what we have is that in SciSpace, not just in TLDR, right? Everywhere in SciSpace, SciSpace is built for research people, and we know how seriously hallucination is taken, right? Accuracy is the most important metric that we track. You will see SciSpace taking time to generate something, but it will ensure that whatever it generates is accurate. So, for example, I uploaded a PDF which was imported from Zotero, and this is something that SciSpace doesn't have internally. Okay, it is not a SciSpace paper. When it is generating the TLDR, it is going to tell you which text in this PDF supports this particular statement. This tells you, okay, this is the statement which supports this particular part of the TLDR. Similarly, for this PDF, you'll see that, okay, for this is the statement. And what I can also do is, if I want to see in the PDF where exactly is this statement written, I can click on locate in PDF. It will navigate me to this PDF and exactly tell me, okay, in this paragraph is where this statement is written, and this paragraph is supporting this statement here. So we make sure whatever we provide as an answer using AI is always supporting with real world data. Nothing is generated on its own. And this is not just a feature for this TLDR, it is for everything that we'll see now and whatever you have experienced till now in SciSpace. Okay, so let's move ahead. Yeah. So what we have done till now is that we brought in like 6 papers for microplastics into our library, right? Uh, the next step is to synthesize research using Copilot. Okay, Copilot, like I told you, is a very helpful tool. You will find it at various places on SciSpace. It is always there to answer your queries regarding anything that you see on SciSpace, right? And you have seen some instances till now where Copilot was present, and I'll show you more instances of how you can use Copilot to gather insights, right? Now, Copilot as a tool comes in many shapes and forms on SciSpace, right? And the main question which I get from users is, oh, I can use this way, I can use that way, but which is the right way to use Copilot for this particular use case? And that is where I see a lot of confusion stemming in, right? So I'm going to clear out that whole confusion. So AI can do things very well for you, but you need to use it correctly, right? For a particular use case, this form of AI or this form of tool is the right tool, right? So let's go to the first step. which is library insight. So this is one form of copilot which comes in the shape of library insight. So now we have imported certain documents to our library, right? And I want to generate insight out of that library. I don't know which paper contains which statement. I know nothing about it. Let's assume that. But usually that's not the case. But let's assume that's the case, that you have not gone through any of the papers, right? And you want to get an answer to a particular question. But you know that these papers which you have imported to your library contain the answer. Now using these PDFs only and only, I want the AI to generate an answer. That is where library insight comes into the picture. So, since we are on the topic of nanoplastics, here is a question for which I want an insight. Click on it, and this is where, out of those six papers, SciSpace figured out that five papers are better suited to answer this question without you informing the AI which are the relevant five papers. It picked out of those six the top five papers, right? Now you will see that SciSpace takes a little bit of more time than the traditional AI, right? It takes it because it is going through each one of these sources, right? And extracting the correct information from each one of these sources. So it is going to take its own sweet time, but when it generates an answer, the answer is going to be citation backed. It is not going to hallucinate and generate something on its own because I have just asked it to generate something. And okay, it didn't go well. Let me just retry it. Okay, till the time it is loading. So what we have also got here are the five papers which support this answer, right? So out of those six, I have only five now. So these are the five papers. Okay, and the TLDR as usual is here. Now let's say out of these five papers, you want to ask a question which should be answered by each one of these papers, right? So for example, I wanted a TLDR for each one of these papers, is why I have a column called TLDR. Similarly, let's say you want to get the conclusion from each one of these papers. The important keyword is each of these papers. When when you're looking for a particular answer from each one of these papers, is where you can use this table. This table is called a extract data table, where you are extracting data from each one of these papers, right? So let's say I want the conclusion, and this is where what the AI is going to do is it is going to answer this question for each one of these PDFs. So it is going to answer what is the conclusion of this PDF. Okay, this is the conclusion of this research. What is the conclusion of this research? This is the conclusion of this research, and so on and so forth. So whenever you want to get an answer from each one of these PDFs is when you use extract data. Okay, I think we have been deploying the secret feature that I have been talking about. The engineering team is doing that right now, and I couldn't hold them back. So sorry. So most probably it is the reason why I'm not able to generate the insight here. But no worries. We'll continue with the next feature, which I just explained, which is extracting the data. When you want to get answer from each one of these PDFs, is where you use this uh, table, right? Okay. We also have the answer ready, uh, which we asked earlier, where it picked the top five sources and it has done a neat job of answering the question. And you will see that it has used proper citations for supporting each of the statements that it is making. And just like we saw in the table, right, where it was supporting TLDR statements, here also it is indicating which part of the paper supports this particular statement. And also, I also have the locating PDF button here as well, where I can click and see exactly where in the PDF is this particular statement written. If I don't trust this part, I still have this. So there is no way that AI is going to hallucinate in SciSpace. Okay. Now let's say, uh, as a student or as a researcher, we have a habit of noting down various insights that we get along, right? We have this habit built in right from our student journey, right, where we keep on making notes. So that's where SciSpace has a feature to keep on making notes along the way, right? So wherever you find, oh, this is interesting, you will see that there is a nifty button called Save to Notebook. And when I click on it, it is going to save to a notebook. I didn't have a notebook created for me, so it auto creates a notebook for me and saves this particular insight into that notebook. And while it is doing, it is also keeping the citations as is. So when I click on it, I know which paper did this answer come from. And at the end of this document is where it is collecting all the references which are present in this document. So you are never losing the context even while doing the insight gathering, right? Also, along with this particular node, it has stored a link. This link, when clicked, will take you again back to this answer. So you know that from which part of SciSpace or at what point in time did you click this, did you save this node. So there is no need for you to do anything else other than just clicking this save to notebook button whenever you find something insightful. Okay. And the same feature is available here as well. I found this conclusion of this particular PDF interesting. So I can click on this and it is going to save this as well. So this came from the conclusion of this paper because I know that it is cited again and again to support each one of these statements. And I can click on this link and it will take me to that particular paper. Okay, excellent. So going back to our slide. So what we have seen is that I can generate a library insight. It will answer my question. It will generate a good draft, excellent draft, which is generated here, right? Which is citation backed. I made a note of it and I can extract data from the papers when I want to ask a particular question against each one of these papers, right? Okay, excellent. Now let's go to the third way in which I can use Copilot to synthesize my research, right? The third is chat with PDF. This is something which is quite unique. So, what we want is that, let's say, you find this, let's say, any one of these PDFs, right? Let's take any one of these PDFs and say that, okay, this is a PDF in which I want to dig deeper. You use chat with PDF to dig deeper into your research papers. So I know that by talking to various researchers, they spend hours understanding a particular piece of research. There is a seminal paper in a domain and they want to know it in and out. And this is where chat with PDF comes into the picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this PDF title and open it into a new tab. So we have it in the new tab now. What this does is the Copilot opens on the right side and you have your PDF on the left. So if you don't want the AI to disturb you, you can just focus on reading it and minimize this tab. And whenever you feel, okay, this is where I need AI's help, is where you can select, let's say. I want an explanation of what this statement means, I can select it and ask to explain text for me. What AI is going to do is it is going to not just understand what this statement means, it is going to go through the whole paper and it is going to explain this statement using the complete paper. So let's say there is a statement which is made in the abstract and it is expanded on in the later part of the paper, right? So AI is going to understand the whole paper and bring out evidences or statements which are present in other parts of the paper to explain you this particular thing. So that is first thing that chat with PDF does, is explaining things. Now explaining things is not limited to just text, right? Let's say you have an image here. Now maybe for us this image is quite simple, but we'll take this as an example. I cannot select this image and ask it to explain me, right? So what I can do is I can click on explain math and table, and I can select any mathematical equation or a graph or an image for that matter and ask AI to explain me what this image means. So AI is going to break down each element of this particular image, and just like it explained the text, it is going to explain what this image means. So yeah, so that is the next part of it, right? So other than explanation, right, we always have asking questions to the AI, right? Let's say we ask a question. Sorry, the image is still loading and the AI is going to take its time to do the scanning of the literature and generate an answer for us. So we'll give it sweet time so that it generates the accurate response, right? So till then, I'll take you through this part is where we have suggested questions, right? So whenever you open a new paper, there are certain things that you always want to ask a particular PDF, right? Let's say you want, so a lot of the researcher want to know which data has been used in this paper, right? So we have this one click questions that you can ask the paper, which will tell you the answer, right? And this answer is again going to be citation backed. So let me just take you through this answer. So it cited a particular source. I can click on it and it will take me to this particular section where it says that okay, this is the passage which supports this particular statement, right? Yeah. Other than that, what we also have is creating a summary. So you have a PDF which is like 100 pages big. You don't want to miss out anything from the PDF. You still do, but you don't have time to go through all the 100 pages. What you can do is you can generate a neat little summary of that particular PDF. The AI is going to generate a concise summary covering all the important points of this particular paper, right? So instead of 100 pages, you will have like maximum of 1 or 2 pages, which you can quickly go through. Or let's say you don't have time to go through 1 or 2 pages and you want to just understand this paper on the go. What you can also do is you can play it as a podcast. It is going to convert this whole paper into a short podcast where it is using the voice, it is going to explain you what is present in this paper. So there are a lot of choices to choose from. You can make your choice, use different tools, different ways to synthesize and gather insights from the various papers, uh, and each to its own. Uh, yeah. So so I think we covered library insight, we covered extract data, and we also covered chat with PDF. So three different tools, different shapes and forms in which Copilot comes, and helps you understand the research. Okay, I'm just going to stop here again and see if we have any quick questions which I can answer before moving on to the third part, which is creating draft out of all of these insights that we collected.
Omkar, there are a couple of interesting questions.
Sure.
The first one is, how does request PDF feature work? This is from Supreet.
Request PDF. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll come to request PDF, right? Okay, so what I'll go and demonstrate it.
let's say in the library, if I've added couple of papers recommended, but it has say let's say there is request PDF there.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
So what this does is, so not all PDFs are open access, right? We know that as a research community, we need to get access through various different publisher portals. There is no one single place where all the PDFs are hosted. You might have the university login or you might not have it. If you have it, well and good, you get the PDF access on that particular publisher's portal. But if you don't, and the PDF is not open access, is where you can reach out to the author of this particular research, and if they are kind enough, you can get the PDF from them. So to simplify this whole process is where we built this feature called request PDF. When you click on it, you can add a message to the author of this particular paper as to why do you need this particular PDF, right? You can write a message as to why, how this PDF is going to support your research or a particular cause, right? And when you click this button is where SciSpace on your behalf with your message is going to send an email to the author requesting access to this PDF. And if the author is kind enough and shares the PDF, SciSpace will share that on your email address. Yeah, that is how the request PDF feature works. And every day, a lot of researchers and authors get to connect each other with this feature, and the sharing of research just grows through this feature.
Awesome. There is one question I think which you'll be able to answer super quickly. This is from Shabnam.
Mhm.
Uh, Shabnam says they have 100 papers in their library,
Mhm.
and can they chat or get insights from all those 100 papers at once using chat with PDF feature, which you explained?
Yeah, so there is nothing that stops you.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I think we can proceed ahead.
Okay, so we'll move to the last part, which is how can you create drafts using AI Writer, right? AI Writer is super, super, super smart, and I'll explain you in a bit, right? So what we have seen till now is that you, for any piece of information that you see on SciSpace, right? Or any insight that you generate on SciSpace, you can click the save to notebook button and it gets saved in your notebook, right? So, and this is something we covered till now. Okay. So now let me just open the notebook which SciSpace created for me in my library. So whenever I click the save to notebook button, it started saving in my notebook, which is called my first notebook. And it also gets created in your library. So there is a neat little folder which is created called notebooks. And this folder contains my first notebook. Okay, so there we have it. So we saved two notes. One was the library insight answer, which is the long form answer, and there was a conclusion which I demonstrated, which was present, right? So let's say we are on the topic of nanoparticle plastics and human health. Say human to be more specific, right? And I will just segregate whatever I'm going to write notes. So these are the notes that I have collected till now. And there is nothing that stops you from accumulating more notes, right? So at any point in time, you can feel free to click the save to notebook button and just going to start saving the notes to your notebook, right? Now, let's say I want to write a draft on this particular topic, right? So what I can do is there is this first option which says press slash for commands. When I click on slash, it is going to open up this AI menu for me. The first option is that of outline builder. So a lot of times what happens is that we have a topic in our mind, and the first thing that we should do or is difficult to do is to generate a neat little outline for the draft. Generating an outline makes it very easy to gather our ideas or organize the ideas that we have into the draft, right? So this is like the major blocker when you start, right? So to get over that cold start problem, right, where just writing the heading is not going to lead to a draft creation, right? You need a cold start, and this is where the outline builder helps you. Let's say it asked me write an outline for just type my topic here and human gut. Okay, so what AI is going to do is, for this particular topic, it is going to decide what are the various outline headings that are suitable. It's not going to generate some generic outlines, right? It is specific to this particular topic. And we see that for this particular topic, these are the various sections that it has generated. So I think we are already about to like finish the webinar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reduce the length of this draft for now. So let's keep understanding nanoplastics, journey of mechanisms, health impacts is very important, current research. Let's remove preventing measures, and maybe let's say we remove the mechanisms. Okay, now we let's start using AI again to write more thoughts here, right? So maybe I have done some research on this topic, maybe I have gathered some notes, or maybe I haven't, right? Maybe on the go, I want to generate some thoughts for this particular section, right? So how do I do that? And that is where the next feature comes into the picture, which is autocomplete, right? So what it, autocomplete does is it is going to start filling up sections for you. So I'll click the button which is slash, and just our outline builder we have continue writing with citations. Again, the most important thing is to write anything but backed with particular research, right? So I'll just click on this button, and what it is going to do is it is going to start writing for me for this particular section, and again, not without a citation. So it found a paper. This paper, which AI writer finds, may or may not be present in your library, right? So it is going to give preference to what you have written, what you have collected in your library. If it finds paper which are relevant for this particular section, it is going to take material from that paper and write it for you. If not, then SciSpace has 200 plus million papers. It can always find things for you. Okay, so this AI writer helped me discover a new paper just when I was writing this section, right? So it is not restrictive. It can go above and beyond to find things for you. So it discovered this paper for me and wrote a section for me from this paper. So let's say I do the same thing for this paper as well, right? And I say I like continue writing with citations. Okay, it wrote that as well. And then we have health implications, right? So maybe for this section, what I want to do is I'll use the node that I have collected till now, right? Which is this, the library insight, right? And this is the meaty part of this particular draft. which I painstakingly generated using the library, right? Where I have collected all the papers till now. And I want only those papers to be present in this section. I'll just copy the whole thing and maybe not use the summary section of this and just paste it here. Yeah. So we have this section as well. Then let's build this section as well. Okay, we have this as well. And then we have future directions. I chose outline builder. Well, choose continue writing with citations. Okay, then if we want to write more on a particular section, what you can do is you can still again summon AI, ask it to still continue writing, right? And what it can do is it can still continue filling up things for you. It's not that you have to accept whatever AI is saying. If you don't like it, just discard or ask it to generate again. So what it is going to do is it is going to generate a new section for you, a paragraph for you. Maybe this works. We'll just click on accept. Yeah. So in no time, what we can do is we can start building up insights and start converting them to a draft which is to our liking. Okay, maybe I think these sections are not enough. I want to add a introduction section for this draft, right? So again, I'm going to summon AI. I'll ask it to generate an introduction based on the content which I have on this particular page, right? So I'll ask it to write an introduction. Okay, so AI is going to work, and yep, we have an introduction for this topic based on the content which is present below. Okay, in introduction as well, what AI does is for introduction, it is not going to use any of the citations. But let's say our preference is to use a citation and it has generated this particular sentence or this whole paragraph using research papers. And that is something that we know by now that SciSpace always generates things using research which has been published. So I want to add a citation manually, but I don't want to spend time figuring out which paper supports this particular paragraph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this cite button, or I can also use add the rate. It is going to open this pop-up, which is going to give me suggestions of papers which support this particular introduction section. So it has picked a PDF from my library which supports this particular passage. I can go and cite it. And this is how, even if I don't have a citation for a particular sentence or paragraph, right? AI is going to find out the relevant paper which talks about this particular topic and it is going to suggest you. Let's say you have made some notes already, right? You have been doing the research day in, day out, and you have gathered lots of notes somewhere outside SciSpace, right? And now you are bringing them into SciSpace. What you can also do is you can type out that sentence here or paste that note here and ask AI to suggest citations for you. Whatever note you have written, AI is going to figure out which of the papers which are present in your library or out of those published papers supports this particular statement. So even if you have forgotten noting down which paper did the note come from, you can still use citation and figure out like a proper citation for that particular statement. Okay, we wrote introduction, but it doesn't make sense when we write an introduction, but we missed out on a conclusion. So let's go ahead and write a conclusion as well. What we can do is for this particular page, I'll generate a conclusion as well. There we have it. So we have a neat little draft out of all the insights that we gathered or we generated on the fly on a particular topic. Okay. So I'll just get rid of the notes that I have generated. I don't need it anymore. For all the citations which AI used or we manually added, it is going to generate automatically a references section at the bottom. And in a click of a button, we can change the style of the citation. Like maybe I don't want APA, I want Howard. What I can do is choose it. It will modify all the references for me. Just a click of a button. Nothing more. Okay, so there are other traditional tools that are already available here. If you want to write on your own, just want to type it just like how you type on a Word doc or a Google Doc, you can still use the manual way. We have all the features here where you can, all the formatting options here. Okay, now the next step, which is usually that we want to get this document that we have created and maybe continue writing on uh, let's say Microsoft Word or Google Doc, or you want to share it with your supervisor, your colleague. What you can do is you can export it as a docs file. And what it is going to do is it is going to download a docs format for you. So there is no lock-in. You can write your content here and easily share with anybody who is not on SciSpace. Okay, so it is super helpful that way. Yeah, so this is one journey, right, where we took from a bunch of papers that we collected, generated insights, and then we wrote a draft out of it. But there might be cases where you want to start writing fresh. Okay, what you can do is you can go to the AI writer page. This is the page which is dedicated for AI writer, and you can choose a template. So there are 5 excellent templates which are used again and again by the researchers, which are present here. So you don't want the outline to be generic to a particular topic, like just like how it would presented just now, and you want the outline to be specific to a literature review or abstract writing or a thesis statement. You can choose any one of them. Let's say I choose literature review and I start writing. So it will specify to write a literature review on, let's say, I write the topic short nanoplastics and generate. So this is going to generate the outline specific for literature review on nanoplastic, right? It is not going to be a generic outline. So this is super helpful. And then again, you can start using all the features that we talked about, continue writing, building your document here in the AI writer in no time. Okay, so we covered citations on the go, where the citation pop-up is super helpful. And we also covered exporting your document in the doc format, right? So that it can be imported anywhere else so that you can continue writing there. Okay, so before we move to the super secret feature that we have been working on, I'll just take a pause here and see if we have any questions.
There are a few questions. I think we'll finish and then take Q&A in one go.
Okay,
Okay,
so just
thank you.
go ahead. Okay, so the big reveal, right? So what we have done till now is we have painstakingly organized our research into SciSpace library. Before that, you must have done a lot of searching, researching, finding out the relevant papers. Then we what we did was we generated insights from all of those papers, and then we generated draft, right? What if AI does all of this for us in one single go. You just tell the topic, it does all of these steps for you without you handholding. You tell AI this particular thing, you go on a walk, take a coffee break, come back, and it has the draft ready for you. Isn't it amazing? So, ta-da, we have now the SciSpace agent, the AI agent, which is so powerful, which can go from a single statement to a published ready draft for you. And mind you, this is one use case. I'll just show you uh, how the agent works. And I was not really supposed to share this today, but since a lot of people joined today, everybody is so excited about SciSpace. I just thought that maybe we'll give the sneak peek in this particular webinar, right? So just before the webinar, I was just testing out how it has been performing. And I gave this one particular statement, not a lot, right? It is just one statement. What the agent does it creates a plan for you. It first understands what this particular statement is and it creates a plan. You can see the plan contains a full systematic literature review as we would have done, right? Any researcher would have done. It follows the exact Prisma guidelines. So it generates this whole plan, and it what it does is it follows each one of these steps one by one without you having to interrupt and guide it. It is going to create its own inclusion exclusion criteria. It is going to search multiple databases. It is going to go beyond SciSpace as well. It is going to go to PubMed, Google Scholar, any database that is there. It is going to download all of those texts for you, the full text, not just the abstract. And somebody was asking me about duplicate papers, right? It is going to deduplicate the papers on its own. You don't have to do anything manual. It is going to extract data, which we saw in the extract data feature, and is going to generate a whole report for you at the end. So I'll just show you the report that it generated. My God. Yeah, this is the whole report which it generated, and all it took was 30 minutes for it. Okay, so this is a new era that we are getting into, which is SciSpace agent, and the team has, I guess, by now launched it on the homepage. I'll just check it. Okay, there we have it. The SciSpace agent is live. If you don't want to go the traditional way, where you take it step by step and want to do it all in the one go, I would highly recommend you trying out the SciSpace agent. Okay, that's it for now.